Hello garden bestie and welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a lovely Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, or just some nice time off. I certainly did. Went down to the coast for a few days with some family and now I'm home. As you can see here, some things are looking a little bit worse for wear. This bed of corn is my first plan of action for today. Pulling that out so I can plant something new. I've got some seedlings that I bought from the nursery that I'm going to plant. Another round of tomatoes, I reckon. I also got some flowering things like some zinnias and even some dahlia seedlings, which I've been getting on the dahlia bandwagon for the first time. So yeah, I thought you could join me in the garden as we do a little bit of pottering. If you're into that sort of thing, be sure to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you are up to during this weird period between Christmas and New Year where time just doesn't exist. Let's get into it. So as I said, starting to rain. Might have to take a break in a sec if it gets too hard. This old round of corn, which was not very successful, so they just went to flower. They tasseled very early, so the cobs, these are the cobs here, were not ready to be pollinated, so I didn't really get much of a harvest. So that was a bit disappointing, but I'm gonna take these out now because I want to use this bed to plant some new veg. I'm thinking maybe a round of tomatoes might go in here. Wonder how hard this rain is gonna get. Hold on to that thought. We're back for now after a brief interlude for the rain. As I was saying, this corn is coming out. As you can see, I am not pulling the whole corn out by the roots. I'm just cutting it off at the base and leaving the root system in the ground. This is because the root system has created a kind of network with mycorrhizal fungi in the soil, which is beneficial to the soil itself and in turn to the plants that are grown within this area. So rather than disturbing that by pulling the roots out, I'm going to leave them in the ground. They'll slowly break down, providing all that goodness for whatever I plant in the ground next. There is a pumpkin in here, which I planted a little while ago, so I am obviously going to just leave that one in there. Rather than throw the corn in the compost bin or the green bin, I've got this bed here, which is the soil levels dropped a little bit. What I'm going to do is just chop the corn up, and once it's all chopped up and spread out, just going to add a layer of compost on top before planting in something new. And this corn will break down over time, providing goodness for the ground. And it reduces how much soil or compost I'll need to add in here to top it up. Again, as this breaks down over time, the soil will drop down a little bit. And then I can just add some fresh compost in when I need to. The smaller pieces I break it into, the quicker it'll break down. Excuse me. I got some compost that I'm now going to add to the top of my chopped up corn. Can get back to it. I've given this bed a good water now and tried to push down the soil and compost as much as I could in between all the cracks between the corn that I put underneath. And I've got my zinnias and some dahlias I'm going to plant in here. These are thumbelina mix, so I think there are a range of different colours, but they're just little ones. They only grow to 15 to 20 centimetres in height. So I'm going to stick these around the edge. 4 little cells, one on each. I was going to say corner, but they're not corners, you know. 12, 3, 6 and 9. And I'm going to put these dahlias in the middle. Now I've never bought them from seedlings before, like little seedlings. I'm assuming there's a little tuber in there. And hopefully if they grow well I can lift them and divide them for next year. These ones are called Cinderella. Doesn't say the colour. 50 to 55 centimetres. In the opposite section. 2 in the middle. Give them a good water in. And it's just started raining, so that'll help them settle in. Whilst I've got the hose, give these tomatoes that I just planted water in as well. Thanks for joining me in the garden, and we'll see you next week.